Alright, so let's start the Sackville route. First thing I'm doing is I'm signaling into my spot, shoulder checking to the right, because that's the direction I'm turning to. Stopping again. So I stop at the end of the aisles, just like it's a stop sign. Turn on my left signal, do a left shoulder check, go on out to Sackville Drive. Pulling up here, I can stop before the sort of like back from the sidewalk and have a really good line of sight, or I can pull right up closer to the sidewalk and have a good line of sight. So I shoulder check to the right, signal to the right, turn to the right. Now what I want to do, if the examiner tells me, for instance, we're going to go left at the lights, I want to hang out in this right lane for just a little bit longer. And that's just because I should always be in the right lane unless I'm turning. So now I turned on my left signal light, did a left shoulder check, switched over to the left lane. Gotta turn left down here. Pretty sure I'm not gonna get this arrow. And in that case, I do not mind being wrong. So I turned left there with hand over hand steering and a left shoulder check. Now this is like the neighborhood section. So here I'm doing about 40 kilometers an hour. This is Skyridge Avenue. I believe it's Skyridge. It might be... No, sorry, it's Pine Hill Drive. So Pine Hill takes us, goes between Sackville Drive and Glendale Drive. This will be the common place where they'll do like the neighborhood sections. They'll mix it up a little bit in here, but this is generally the area. So I come up to this stop sign. Just be aware this stop sign is mounted super high, and a lot of drivers and students have tried to go through it. So I got my right signal light on here, got a good stop right on the line, did a right shoulder check with hand over hand steering, and off we go. Driving down here through the curve, you've probably seen in previous videos I told you to signal across here. You don't have to do that. So don't worry about signaling across, just go around the vehicles cautiously. Here I'm going to throw on my right signal light, and I just shoulder checked right there before the turn so that I can just come up to the turn and concentrate on the turn itself. Through here, I usually do 30 to 35, but just kind of judge it for yourself. Like I could legally go 40 here. It's not too bad, but once I get up around 40, I kind of feel like if there was anything going on, anybody jumps out or anything, then that might be a bit much. So 35 is ideal there, but you could get away with 40 if it's not busy. Here I'm coming to the stop sign on Prince Street. Got my right signal light on. Slowing down nice and gradual. I stop right at the sign. So now I'm going to do a stop, look, check, and go. So I did my stop. Now I push out and look. Make sure I'm good. Yeah, it looks good. Right shoulder check since I'm going to the right. And then away I go into a school zone. And I'm just going to assume that this school zone is active because it's completely blocked by trees. So I can't see if there's anyone in it or not. So I'd rather get dinged points for going too slow in a school zone than too fast. So right now I'm doing 29. And it will probably feel like really awkward and slow on your test, but just get used to doing this chill speed. It's your test, and you don't care if you have to drive 5 kilometers an hour. Whatever they want you to do to pass that test, that's what you want to do. Like go around that SUV with lots of space. Now I've got a 50 sign. I don't have to speed right up to 50, but I'm just going to gradually accelerate here a bit just to show that I'm making a change at that sign, so that it shows that I see the sign. Now coming back to Pine Hill Drive, got my right signal light on. Nice gradual stop right on the line. So that's my stop. Now I have to look. Looks good. Now I have to check. Shoulder check to the right, and away I go. Got to remember this is that shifty stop sign. So just I might actually mark this sign somehow lower on the pole, maybe with some like reflective tape or something, but just be aware of that one. And when you stop there, remember if you're going straight, like if you stop and then someone else stops, you don't have to wait there for them. You go right on out, and if it's your turn, you just go. You don't stop and watch them. So here we're gonna do a curb park. So I got my right signal light on, did a right shoulder check. Now I'm just drifting over really slow, and that's helping my signal light not to cancel because I didn't turn the steering wheel too much. There, so now I'm facing downhill, so I'll put the car in park, put the emergency brake on, like that, and then turn all the way to the right. So now if the car was to roll down the hill, it's just gonna actually roll into the curb because it's turned towards the curb. So that's good there. Looks like we should be no more than 15 centimeters off the curb. Looks like that was a good one. I'm not the best curb parker, but that one was good. So the biggest thing to remember here is I had to turn my wheel back towards the road, because if I go to drive back out, my wheel's that way, I'm going to drive up over the curb. There we go. So I turn my left signal light on there, did a left shoulder check, and now I'm going down to this stop sign on Glendale Drive. So I got a good stop, and now let's just show them what it looks like, the line of sight. This is what you'll be looking at on Glendale Drive. All this grass, it just keeps growing and growing. So just be aware of that. All right, good to go there. Right shoulder check. So now I'm in a 60 km/h zone on Glendale Drive. And what I want to do is just gradually accelerate. So see how I'm getting close to 60 here now. So what I want to do is just keep that pedal pressure so steady. Now 57 or 58 is the number I want to try to stay at here. See if I can stay right at 58. This is a little bit easier than going like back and forth from brake to gas, especially where you got the potholes distracting you. Down to 56, gotta get back up there. But you can see so far I haven't hit the brakes at all. This is where everyone goes over the speed limit. Let's see if the car will slow itself. Bring it up to 57, 58, see what it does. But yeah, it's not going over. It's starting to go down, so I'll just give it a little bit more. 57 to 58. And it's still slowing itself. So I'm not giving it a whole bunch of gas there, because that would make it go over. I'm just giving it the tiniest bit. And then that way it kind of stays at that chill speed where it's holding itself back. So here the examiner will say we're going straight at the lights, but they won't tell you what lane to go in. You always go into the right lane, and you don't need to signal into that lane because you're going directly into it. Coming up to the lights, looking left and right, so I'm scanning the intersection. Looks good. That car made it through. My friend came on out, and we keep on going. So here I'm thinking speed control, and I'm also thinking of lane flow. And I'm thinking of this traffic truck up here. What's he doing? So I'm getting out of this lane, left shoulder check with the left signal. One over here. Right signal, right shoulder check. Still under 60, that's what I want. So if I was at 59 here, and the vehicle beside me was, say, like staying right next to me, I wouldn't want that. So in a case like that, I would go down to 55, because I want a constant flow of that left lane getting ahead of me. That way, if anyone's trying to pass, they can easily get in front of me or behind me, whatever they gotta do. If I'm going at the speed limit, and then they're doing the speed limit in the left lane, that might create a bit of a conflict. So there I went from 60, I'm in a 70 zone now, but I'm actually just thinking about following distance here. If I didn't have anyone in front of me, I'm not gonna accelerate that much, like up to 70, just because I'm exiting down here at the lights. So I'm exiting right, got my signal light on nice and early so everybody behind me knows what's up. And the most important thing here is I'm going into right shoulder check, and I'm going into this ramp nice and gradual like this. I look left, I don't have to yield, so I just flow right through. If I went in there too fast and then I had to yield, that would be a bit of a problem. That'd be kind of stressful. So this is an acceleration lane here, going up to 70 kilometers an hour. To Once I get to this yellow sign, I gotta go up to about 80. And that's because I'm gonna stay in this lane, but the minimum speed on the highway is 80. So I'm just coming up to 80 just to keep the law happy. And I'm actually gonna go down, I'm not going on this highway, I'm gonna go down to Highway 101. So I'm going down to the interchange. By the time I get to that interchange, I want to be at 60 kilometers an hour. So what I'm doing here is I'm just gradually braking over time. And the number is just coming down, 69, 68, 67, nice and easy, no stress. Now we're at 60 for the ramp. Let go of the brake pedal. The 60 is not too bad. And you have to remember that it is a highway too, right? So you got to keep the pace up. So it's saying 45 for this ramp, but I'll go down to about 55 or so. Now I got to merge over into that center lane. So I got my left signal light on, holding my wheel straight, and I start shoulder checking. 2 shoulder checks, and away I go. And this is a spot that gets everybody on this test. It's still 70 kilometers an hour in this interchange. Until you get to the overpass, this is 100. And it feels super awkward to do 70 there. But if it means getting your license, then do 70 there. Now I'm in the 100 zone, so I'm going right up to 97, 98. Doesn't matter how many people want to merge here, I'm not going to change lanes. Because if I change lanes, I might get blocked out in that left lane when everybody comes into the right. So I would adjust my speed there or stay consistent. So in this case, I'm going to hang out at around 98 or so. But if I was close to this person in front of me, maybe if they were driving a bit slower, then I would be staying back a bit and thinking about following distance. So I wouldn't be thinking as much about the number of my speed. If I had cars beside me, I want to make sure they're getting by, but I don't have anybody beside me right now. Got my thumbs on the outside of the steering wheel. That's what they want to see on the test. But when you get your license, you can put them on the inside. That's why they have these grooves here for your thumbs. See, I lost a little bit of speed there. So I came up to the hill, lost a bit of speed. So now what I'm doing is I'm just gradually compensating. Very, very gradually. Now it's going to level out, so I might end up at 98. Now I'm going to let off for a sec. Okay, went down 97. Come back onto it gradual. Now I'm about to go up a hill, so I'm going to give it just a tiny bit more. I'd like to be right at 98, so I'm going to give it some more. You can see the RPMs going up there for the engine. So once I get to this exit 2 sign, this is exit 2 on Highway 101, I got my right signal light on at that sign. Did a right shoulder check. Now I'm going into this ramp without slowing down. I guess I did let off the gas and slow a bit, but I don't want to hit the brakes and really slow down on the highway. I want to keep that speed up and then get into the lane here. So the ramp speed is 50 kilometers an hour. Cameraman's hands must be getting tired. So here I've got a yield sign, but I got my own lane. So what I do, I'll just do a quick look to the left. You don't have to do like a crazy shoulder check there or anything. You're just kind of showing the examiner that you see that there is a yield there, and you're just checking to make sure you're good. And here what I'm doing is, since the light is red, I'm just going down nice and gradual like this. I don't want that examiner to think even for a second that I'm going to rear end this car or go through the light. Now if I came down there and that light was green, I would stay at 60 kilometers an hour on that other side, just because if I was at 70, which is the speed limit, that would be kind of hard to react to a yellow light too. So if the light went yellow at 70, that would be hard. At 60, not so much. So here my limit is 70, doing about 66. There are vehicles beside me, but they're not like in my blind spot or like directly next to me, so that's okay. I see a 50 sign up here and I'm at 60, so I just let off the gas pedal, not touching the brake. Trust the car. Now I'm at 50, right signal lights on, right shoulder check, Into the ramp we go. I want to take my time here. First thing I want to do is make sure that car actually clears. Okay, no pedestrians. We're good. So I have my own lane here, and sometimes cars will be coming across from middle Sackville, and it will seem like they're going to come into my lane. They don't actually do that, but what I do, I'll still just ease out nice and slow so that nobody comes over. They usually wait till well after the lights to make their lane change. So this is Sackville Drive. This is all 50 kilometers an hour, and I'm just like really gradually slowing down. This is also reducing the amount of time I sit at the red light too. And I think we got the cops behind us too, so this will be the coolest road test ever. So as I'm accelerating here, this SUV is getting away from me, so I'm starting to get a good following distance. So I'm not accelerating at the rate that they're accelerating. So you can see I'm doing 35 kilometers an hour, but if that's what the person in front of me is doing, then that's what I'm going to do. If I go out and pass, I'm just going to open up so much opportunity for, especially on Sackville Drive, just for some kind of silliness to happen. And I don't want any silliness on my test. So coming down nice and slow. Stop right about here. So when you stop, you want to be able to see the tires of the vehicle in front of you. But the thing is, if I'm really tall and the examiner's really short, they may not see the tires and I might see them, and they might just kind of like, without me realizing it, jot down, take some points for being too close. So I always recommend that you leave a car length between you and the vehicle in front of you. That way there's no misunderstandings. This is the only spot on Sackville Drive where everybody goes over. Everybody will go over here even when you tell them that they're going to go over here. So what I'm doing here, I was at about 40, I let off the pedal. Look at that. Just trusting the car. Car stayed at 39 down the hill, and then it started slowly going down. So if you're really gentle on the gas pedal, in most cars, there is sort of a, I don't know what you say, like a zone, but like a point you can get them to where they're just gonna like hold themselves back on a hill. But you have to have the car ready for that at the top of the hill. So at the top of that hill, that's where I was at kind of the speed I wanted, and then I just kind of let off the gas pedal. So we got a green light. Looking left, right at the intersection, looks good. I got good lane flow, left lane's going ahead. I got good following distance. So this vehicle's turning, so I'm slowing down way back here. Then I waited till they were definitely out of the roadway, then I just slowly accelerate. Checked my left mirror there because I was curious if I have to worry about lane flow, but there's no one there, so now I'm just thinking speed and following distance. I can see the SUV was kind of slowly getting away from me, so I just gradually brought my speed up a bit. Got a green light. Left lane is flowing. That's what we want. Everyone's zipper merging. That's a good thing. Still got my following distance. Even though I'm in this construction zone, I'm still keeping my distance just because you never know what's going to happen in front of you. And this just makes it easier for me to concentrate on my test. So now I'm on the home stretch, approaching access. This is sort of a hard sign to see. A lot of people drive right by it. So just be aware of that. You can kind of see the silver and blue sign there, and then the entrance only sign. So my right shoulder check with my right signal light. Driving in nice and chill. This will be the most nervous time of the test. Just wait for Willie here to park his truck. All right. So there's nobody in the parking area. And we're not supposed to do this, but we should do it for the video. So I'm lining up at spot number 1. I put my my passenger side door lock is right up to the line of this is the third line, and this line that represents the back of my car is perfectly lined up with the spot that I want. Now what I'm doing is I'm just looking back, and what I can do So I can stop right here, check my mirror. So as long as I'm stopped, it's okay for me to look around. Now I just look back again, because I have to be looking back the whole time if the car is moving back. And only you guys can see if this is a good parking job or not. I'm super nervous. I hope I get my license. Was that good?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, so that's what I do there. I just go park, put on my emergency brake, and get out of the parking space before they get mad. So that's the Sackville test there. So it's fairly straightforward, and keep in mind that they'll mix up the route here and there, and they won't actually always take you on the highway either. So you never really know what to expect, but this video just gives you an idea of pretty much anything that you could sort of possibly expect on the test. All right, thanks for watching.